They break this kebab and see how nice the meat is, how soft and tender. Assalamu alaikum everybody, I'm back in my kitchen and today I'm making chicken seekh kebabs. So this recipe is very special. Let me take you to the ingredients, and it has two secret ingredients that no one tells you about, and I'm going to share this recipe with you. And the reason why I'm making this recipe today is because my son likes a couple of brands from the shops that he loved, those seekh kebabs. And I tested, tried again, because I didn't want him to eat all this frozen food all the time. So I've perfected this recipe better than those commercial seekh kebabs. This is so nice. So I'm going to share this recipe with you. Please do try at home and tell me how it turns out to be. So I have 800 grams of mince, which is in the fridge. I'm going to take it out later. So 500 grams is breast mince and 300 grams is thigh mince. And please, if you are buying it from the butchers, ask them to take it off the machine twice. And if you have a food processor at home, you can just make the mince at home yourself. So coming back to these spices, I have a large 1 tablespoon of whole cumin. Then I have 1 teaspoon of whole black pepper. I have a tiny small piece of cinnamon stick. I have 5 of these really hot red dried chilies. I have long pepper. So it's supposed to be longer than that, so the piece was broken, so I've added 2 pieces, so 1.5 you can say. Now this is one of the secret ingredients. This seekh kebab will not turn out how I'm making it today if you don't use this ingredient. I have 2 whole cardamoms, black ones. And again, this is another secret ingredient. 9 pieces of those. It's called tailed pepper, or in Urdu you call it kebab chini. So when you go to the shops, you can look for tailed pepper. Now in the middle, I have half a teaspoon of carom seeds. So this is quite important as well. So this is the mixture that I am roasting here. So this is the mixture that we will be using in the kebabs. I have pan, and I'll throw in all these dried spices in the pan, and I will roast it for about 2 to 3 minutes. I'm going to take these spices out in the plate because I don't want these spices to be burned. They are nice and hot, and I want them to be slightly cool before I put them in my machine. I'm going to add another important ingredient here. I have 2 heaped tablespoons of plain flour. And let's go back to the same pan and add the plain flour, and I'm going to roast it as well. Coming back to spices, I'm adding all these spices in my machine. Make sure every single spice is gone in the machine nicely. You don't want to waste anything to get the full flavor of all these nicely roasted spices. And in the same plate, I will take the plain flour out. Let's grind the spices. Bismillah. Here's the spices, and I haven't really made the powder out of these spices. Coming back to the plain flour, I'll switch off the exhaust fan. Here is the plain flour as well. Wow, it's hot. So plain flour is hot. So I'm just waiting for it to cool down slightly. The spices already cooled down. Flour will take a little bit longer. So I will tell you what else I will be mixing. I've grated 2 medium onions, and I fully drained the water out of them, squeezed them to the point where there was no water left, and then I left it on the tissue. So these onions are very dried, as you can see. There's hardly any moisture in these onions. And so as 1 tablespoon of garlic and ginger paste as well. I left it on the tissue, so all the water has squeezed out. So that's quite dry as well. So I will be adding this mixture to the mince as well. And now let's take the mince out of the fridge. Adding. So this is the spice mix. Okay, so all of it goes in the mince. All of this plain flour goes in the mince. 1 tablespoon of ginger garlic mixture goes in the mince, and all of these onions, dried onions. I mean, they are fully sort of like dried. I've squeezed them completely to take all the water out of these onions. So all of that goes in. Now for extra flavoring, I'm adding tip of the teaspoon, less than, so 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder, and then I have some food coloring that gives it a really nice color. So the yellow color, you just take the end of the spoon and then just add like 1 or 2 pinches of this. And with the salt, I don't do really measurements, to be honest. I just use my hand measurements. So I think it's around 1 teaspoon of salt that I will be adding to this. That's all we're adding, and now let's mix. I'm back in my kitchen because me and Zara were taking a bit of rest. The mince is ready. It's properly mixed, and I was setting it for about 30 minutes in the fridge. Now this is nice and cool, and we don't want to delay anything now. I've got some bamboo sticks, the skewers, and these have been soaked in water for a couple of hours. So I have these bamboo sticks. They are a bit tiny thin. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to join 2 together, maybe, I think, to get better hold. So before we start making these Seekh Kebabs, I'll add tiny bit of oil in the mince, and then I have a pan here. We're using flat. I've got this pancake pan, flat one. So I'll add some oil to that pan, and because I've added some oil, I'm going to give it a mix, and then we will start making Seekh Kebabs. Slightly wet hands, damp wet hands, and I'm like, these skewers are a bit thin, so I'm going to put 2 together. Take some mince in your hand and start putting on the skewers. Okay, it will have a nice hold because these are quite sturdy, because we've drained onions, and also there is plain flour. So medium heat. Had a bit of a challenge in the kitchen because there was a fly. I was running everywhere after the fly, and I had to get rid of it. So, and I said to Zara, please don't film me, because I literally look like Walter White from Breaking Bad. You know, the fly episode. Wow, one of my favorites, classic. Anyway, back to the Seekh Kebabs, right? So here I am. The oil is pretty much ready, and this is how your Seekh Kebabs should look. Really sturdy, not falling, not breaking. And just place it on the sizzling hot oil. You should hear the sizzle. Okay, so just 2 to 3 minutes on each side. Look at that, the color, how pretty that color is. Once it's cooked from one side, just change sides. It cooks very, very quickly. Some barbecue outside later. If I did get a chance, I will make a little clip of those kebabs as well, so we can do a comparison how these are looking. But right now I'm doing these kebabs because most people, you know, out of convenience, it's easier to do them in the pan. It's a lot quicker like that. And I'm going to try do tandoori rotis as well outside. Not sure if you've seen my video about making naans on my tandoor outside in my garden. That was a disaster. Anyway, I'm still practicing, so I'm not going to make another video until I perfect myself making naans outside on my tandoor. So I'm going to do a bit of practice today. But if you haven't seen that video, please do watch it. And it's absolutely hilarious because I could not make perfect naans. Did make some naans, and just I won't tell you much. Just watch the video and tell me what you think. I think it was disaster. So that side is cooked. I'll tell you a tiny bit of trick actually that does work as well. That's just for a little display that you want. You know how the kebabs are served in the shops and how we like. So tiny bit of water, tiny bit of food coloring, mix it in, and you can just rub this on the kebabs to give it that final look. I'm not a big fan of using food coloring in my food too much because I mean, unless you have to. I otherwise like to use saffron in my food than the food coloring. But if you prefer, you can do that. So I'll actually show you how it's done. Okay. If you do want to, if it's really needed, I'm just going to use on the 2 kebabs to show you. So a bit of food coloring. It will give it a bit of sizzling because we've got oil there. Oops. Yeah. So as you can see, it gives kebabs that color. So if you just change side and just add on that side. My kebabs are almost ready. I'm going to get a plate. Just switch off. How these kebabs are looking. I'm going to let these kebabs cool, and then I will make rest of the kebabs and I will show you how to take them out of the skewers and do some little tasting. Another batch done. So just giving you update. And let's take this batch off. See how nice that batch looks. Kebabs did not break at all. They stayed in the shape. And how juicy these kebabs look. Making the 3rd batch now. and I think this will be demolished as well. Looks like it, because my family is asking me, bring us the batch, where is it? So yeah, I'm on third batch, and then I will see you. Final batch is coming off now. As you can see, the kebabs are looking so nice and juicy. Let's take these kebabs off. How nice and juicy these kebabs are looking. Look at that. Look at that. So nice and juicy. This is slightly not ready on this side, so I'll just leave it for a couple of seconds. Kebabs out. So all these kebabs, so nice, so juicy. As you can see, didn't break. And we'll do tasting, and let's do some tasting. Look how nice and juicy these kebabs are. If you want, you can add some butter while you're storing these kebabs, while you're making them, but they are so nice and juicy. So let's take these kebabs out in the plate so you can see how these kebabs are looking. I'll take a few kebabs out and I will leave the rest in there. So I'm just going to take a few kebabs out, and let's do some tasting. I've got my mint sauce here. I just made some fresh mint sauce. Now, with these kebabs, now you see the ingredients and how we made these kebabs. If you follow the recipe as I've told you, the kebabs will come out really nice, really juicy, and will not break. And they break this kebab, and see how nice the meat is, how soft and tender the meat is. Okay, Bismillah. Dip in the sauce. Bismillah. Wow. Best Seekh Kebab ever. This is so delicious. I'm very pleased. My family is waiting for these kebabs. I'll see you in the next video. Please do subscribe my channel. And if you do try these kebabs at home, please tell me in the comments. Assalamu alaikum.